Lil Wayne is undeniably one of the greatest rappers of all time, one who has influenced an entire generation. But these past couple of years, Wayne has done a few things that have caused a lot of hip-hop fans to begin to turn on him, with many accusing him of being washed, especially after the release of his latest album, The Carter 6. So today we want to look into why everybody is switching up on our boy Lil Wayne. Let's continue. So, recently Lil Wayne released his album, The Carter 6, and let's just say it wasn't very well received. If you aren't familiar with Lil Wayne, he has an album series called The Carter, and pretty much every album in this series is banged. Whether or not you think they were good, they have historically sold insanely well. The Carter 1 in 2004 sold 878,000 units. The Carter 2 in 2005 sold 4 million units. The Carter 3 in 2008 sold a whopping 8 million units, and the Carter 4 in 2011 sold 3 million. I'm not going to mention the Carter 5 because it didn't sell nearly as many, in part because it was more recent. Regardless though, it still had some bangers. So clearly, this series has a very impressive legacy, with Wayne putting out amazing tracks on every single album, and fans were extremely excited for the 6th iteration of this series, and I think it's safe to say that this was a big letdown. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't think the whole album was all that bad, but it definitely wasn't great, and a lot of people absolutely hated it. Fans immediately tore it apart on Twitter, with people posting memes like this, and it wasn't just Twitter that had this opinion, but other music critics as well.
And look, I'm not going to beat around the bush with this review. This album was pretty bad. Not just bad, but shamefully bad at points. Bad form, bad ideas, bad taste, bad execution. The album doesn't even have the decency to be bad in one single way.
In this series, this installment is weak. You're getting lackluster performances. You're getting weak production. I don't even want to call it weak. I want to call it bad production. You're getting an underwhelming feature list where you could have gotten some legends on here, or even some guys that would have been able to put some energy or something back into this track list, for example.
By the way, if you know, Fanto actually said Elephant was his favorite track, which is wild. But don't worry, I'll play it in a second. Either way, Twitter went absolutely nuts when the album dropped. One person tweeted, "You know the album ass when nobody arguing on the timeline, this chance it's hurt, man." Another said, "I haven't seen the TLB this unified in calling an album trash in a long time." There were memes everywhere, and to be honest, some of them were actually hilarious. My personal favorite meme had me dying. It just summed up the entire situation perfectly. Things got so bad that Carter 4 actually re-entered the Billboard 200, with fans saying every real Wayne fan ran back to their favorite Carter after having their heart broken by Carter 6. Honestly, it's hard to even put into words how bad some of these songs were.
We just throwing shit at the wall at this point. When we get to the end, it's just like, I don't even know what the fuck about to happen.
What up, though? All my niggas cutthroat, cut a nigga.
Oh my God. This is not real. I'm being so serious, bro. This is not real. What the fuck is this beat, dog? What is this beat, dog? I'm not gonna lie. We're trolling. You're dead trolling, bro. You're not serious at all. You don't give a fuck. Do you hear this?
Head off, be looking like you fumble. Smoking like double dutch. All you niggas jump rope.
You're dead. You're serious right now,
Granted,
dog.
this might have been the worst track on the album, but honestly, there were quite a few rough moments scattered throughout. At one point, Wayne even dropped a line saying, "And I don't smoke bunk, I only smoke that strong, eyes tight like my name, Wong Ding Ding Dong," which left a lot of fans scratching their heads. Now, to be fair, the album is projected to move around 110,000 units in its first week, and is expected to debut at number 2 on the Billboard 200, which isn't terrible, but when compared to his earlier releases, it definitely falls short. Still, why is this such a big deal? I mean, Wayne's a certified legend who's been in the game for decades. One underwhelming album shouldn't matter all that much. Major artists drop disappointing projects all the time and bounce back. Wayne himself did it before with Rebirth. So why are people so mad now? To get that answer, we have to go back a bit, to just before the 2025 Super Bowl. In September, it was announced that Kendrick Lamar would headline the halftime show, and Wayne clearly wasn't thrilled. He took to Instagram, posting a story saying he felt confused, disappointed, angry, but more than anything, inspired. He added, We'll never again be in a position, or have the GOAT in a position, where we are at the mercy of someone else's decision. We will make the decisions. He followed that up by sharing a video where he further explained what was bothering him.
That hurt. Hurt a lot. You know what I'm talking about? It hurt a whole lot. I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown. And for just automatically mentally putting myself in that position like somebody told me that was my position. It made me feel like not getting this opportunity. And when I felt like you guys reminded me that I ain't without y'all. And that's an amazing reality.
The main reason Wayne felt so strongly about the situation is because the Super Bowl was being held in his hometown of New Orleans, a city that's been central to his identity and career from day one. On top of that, Jay-Z has been overseeing the Super Bowl halftime show for the past few years, so Wayne genuinely believed he had a real shot this time around. He's also made it known in the past that he'd be interested in performing on that stage, having brought it up publicly more than once. So when he didn't get the nod, it hit a lot harder than just being passed over.
Let's think about this for a second. Lil Wayne, headline Super Bowl in New Orleans. How badly do you want to hear those words?
Just as bad as I would want to see my name at the top of that list when I was that whatever age it was, and I would bust into the office and get that Billboard magazine. Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah.
Wayne has even gone as far as saying he'd kill to perform at the Super Bowl, making similar statements in multiple interviews over the years. So when he was passed over, not only was he hurt, but a lot of people were upset on his behalf too. Nicki Minaj and others didn't hold back, calling out both the Super Bowl and Jay-Z directly. One post read, "Denying a young black man what he rightfully put into this game for no reason other than your ego. Your hatred for Birdman, Drake, and Nicki got you punishing Lil Wayne." But not everyone agreed Wayne deserved that spot. After all, the halftime show went to Kendrick Lamar, who arguably had the most explosive year of his career, dominating his beef with Drake and dropping hits like Not Like Us. That sparked a heated debate online, with fans arguing over whether Wayne even earned that level of spotlight. Many pointed out that his live performances haven't exactly been legendary. One Reddit user commented, "Anyone who's seen Wayne live knows he puts on mediocre, low-effort shows, and that's if he even shows up." Twitter wasn't any kinder, as people started circulating clips of some of his weaker concert moments to back up the criticism. There was even one clip that honestly was pretty funny. I'll admit it, and it wasn't just the fans who found it hilarious. Even Tyler, the creator, liked it too, which just added more fuel to the fire and made the moment go even more viral. This incident led to a wave of people in the rap community clowning on Lil Wayne, and it got so out of hand that even Orlando Brown jumped in and started making fun of him, adding to the growing pile-on.
I think that Jay-Z made the best decision ever.
Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want this shit, but I don't want to do. I don't want to do it, but I do.
Which is wild, because when Orlando Brown is calling you the tweaker, you know things are off. That moment kicked off a whole conversation about Wayne's performance skills and why he may have been passed over. For instance, there was a show in 2020 where he performed for about 30 minutes, then left the stage so a few artists from his label could do their set. Doesn't sound too bad, right? But the crowd wasn't having it. They came to see Lil Wayne. When he came back out and noticed the
We appreciate it, but we ain't about to be bending over backwards for these folks. We worked too hard for this shit. We worked way too hard. This one motherfucking artist, Allen, that was Twist, that was John. We on your money. We appreciate y'all time.
Fans were seriously upset, and that 2023 concert incident quickly resurfaced during the Super Bowl debate, with many using it as a key reason why Wayne shouldn't have been given the performance slot. And it wasn't a one-time thing either. There was also that time he walked off stage at High Times, saying he never wanted to be booked for it again before leaving mid-show. I can't remember the exact details, but I'm pretty sure there were a couple other instances like that too. All of this fueled the argument that the Super Bowl just couldn't risk handing over such a major platform to someone with that kind of track record. And no matter where you stand on the situation, Wayne kept publicly complaining about it afterward, which rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way, especially when he brought it up again during his speech at Wheezy Fest a few months later.
That moment I said to myself, I want to be on stage for the Super Bowl one day in front of my mom. And I worked my ass off to get that fucking position, and it was ripped away from me. But this motherfucking moment right here, they can't take that, man. They can't take that from me.
People started firing back with responses like, "You never had it, bro, ever. So how the hell was it ripped away from you?" On top of that, fans were also frustrated with Wayne because Kendrick has been a longtime supporter of his, consistently giving him credit and showing love throughout his entire career. So for Wayne to act like he was wronged felt off to many, especially considering the mutual respect Kendrick had always shown him publicly.
Wayne ain't no new jack to the game, like I said, you know. He influenced a lot of styles and a lot of sounds, and I could say I was influenced by a certain sound and a flow and the cadence, you know, that he brought to the game, which was very unique. Me being a young boy in the game and listening to him like, yo, okay, I need to learn this and that, you know, and that definitely was a perspective from that tape.
So when Wayne kept speaking out like he was owed the Super Bowl slot, a lot of people felt turned off by his attitude. They thought he should have been proud of Kendrick, especially since Kendrick has always openly credited Wayne as a major influence. Not long after, Kendrick dropped Whacked Out Murals, where he addressed the situation directly, rapping, "Used to bump the Carter 3, I held my Rolly chain proud. Irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down." Later in the same track, Kendrick seemed to take a sharper jab, saying, "Win the Super Bowl, and Nas the only one congratulate me. All these people agitated, I'm just glad they showing their faces. Quite frankly, plenty artists, but they outdated old-ass flows trying to convince me that you their favorite." It was clear Kendrick wasn't thrilled with how Wayne handled things. Wayne appeared to respond on Twitter with a post that read, "Man, what the jalatsutsao? I do? I just be chillin', and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep, I beg you all. No one really wants destruction, not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. On me." Strangely though, things never escalated publicly between the two, which honestly was kind of a letdown. Because, let's be real, a lyrical face-off between Wayne and Kendrick would have been legendary. Still, Wayne went on the Skip Bayless show just a few weeks later and made it clear that he had no issues with Kendrick whatsoever.
You know, when we speaking, obviously he can't control that. And, you know, so he didn't let me know. It ain't like he can control it or nothing. And also I've spoken to him and I wished him all the best and told him he better kill it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you better kill it. You gotta kill it.
Okay. Well, did he say anything to enlighten you about these lyrics about you? I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. I don't know exactly what that means. If he's sort of...
No, he ain't. I don't think he knew he didn't have to do anything. There was no explanation that was needed for that. I think I understand. Again, that was my first time hearing it when you just said it.
Okay.
But I understand those words. Like I said, I think he just mean that he made it there, and his hard work is the reason why he made it there.
It was a bit odd when Wayne claimed he never heard those lyrics. But to be fair, he does seem to forget things often, and rarely seems fully in the loop with what's going on around him. Still, fans were initially glad to see that any tension between him and Kendrick had seemingly been put to rest, and they appreciated that Wayne wasn't dragging it out. Well, at least until he did keep dragging it out. First, he appeared in a Super Bowl ad with CeraVe, the skincare brand, that took some lighthearted jabs at the situation while also subtly teasing his upcoming album. Then, a few months later, Wayne did an interview with Rolling Stone where he said he'd never consider performing at the Super Bowl again, claiming the whole experience stole that feeling from him. He definitely sounded bitter in the interview, especially when he admitted that he didn't even watch Kendrick's halftime performance. Wayne said that when it came on, he just went to go play pool and added, Every time I looked, it was nothing that made me want to go inside and see what was going on, which honestly made it seem like he was still holding a serious grudge. Like, how are you going to say, me and Kendrick are cool, go crush it, bro? And then also say, yeah, I didn't even care to watch it. That kind of attitude came off as really disrespectful to a lot of fans and rubbed people the wrong way. Sure, some still sided with Wayne, but the bitterness definitely hurt his image. In that same interview, he even said the NFL messed up big time by picking Kendrick, and claimed that since he was working on the Carter 6 at the time, they could have had music, but instead they got rapping, which again came across as a jab at Kendrick's artistry. And it's especially ironic now considering Carter 6 dropped, and a lot of people wouldn't exactly call it music in the flattering sense. Wayne also claimed the NFL was telling him to be more public-facing in the lead-up to the show, as if they were seriously considering him, and that someone from the league even apologized to him after Kendrick was chosen. So yeah, it's understandable why he felt slighted, but the lingering shade toward Kendrick and how long Wayne kept dragging the situation out is what really frustrated fans. At this point, it almost seems like all that resentment and pressure bled into his latest project, and may have even impacted the quality of the music itself.
You're Lil Wayne. You're fucking Lil Wayne, bro. You don't have to be on a track like, yo, I'm the greatest of all time, and I can be myself. I don't need to be anybody. Like, you don't need a song on here talking about, I'm gonna be myself, and I'm happy to be myself, and I don't need to be anybody else, because I can be me. Like, you're Lil Wayne. You don't need to be up and down this album talking about, like, I'm the greatest of all time. Nigga, we know. Just rap. Like, you were doing those first, like, few songs, and then it was like, it's like the internet must have got to you or some shit, and everything was just about trying to convince niggas that you're the best, instead of showing why you are the best, why people call you the best, by just rapping. Oh my God, this is more like pleading his fucking case, dude.
Rather than stepping up and doing what everyone knows Lil Wayne is capable of, rapping his heart out and delivering undeniable bangers, it felt like, after all the noise he made about the Super Bowl and all the talk about dropping real music, he never actually followed through with any bite.
He had this chip on his shoulder after missing out on the halftime performance for the Super Bowl, and this had a whole domino effect where people started criticizing his abilities on social media. People started comparing him to Kendrick and saying that he would get smoked in a battle, and there was a lot of like this sort of negative press around Wayne going into this album, and this felt like an opportunity for him to silence all of those haters.
And that's what I thought he would do.
I thought that that's what he would do, is remind people that he truly is still one of the greatest, but he squandered that opportunity, and this is a flop of an album.
The Super Bowl situation, how entitled Lil Wayne came off, how much he talked up his own album and was low-key dissing Kendrick just to put out a terrible album, all of these things have really left a poor taste in fans' mouths. But despite all of this, Lil Wayne...
The whole Super Bowl situation, how entitled Lil Wayne came off, how much he hyped up his own album, and the way he subtly threw shade at Kendrick, only to drop a lackluster project, really left a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths. But even with all that, Wayne's legacy remains solid. After everything he accomplished, especially during his peak, there's honestly not much that could truly ruin his career. Before all the drama we're seeing today, Wayne was widely loved. He had a legendary run throughout the 2000s, with his commercial albums charting high and his mixtape game going absolutely crazy. Fans adored him, and of course, his Carter albums were a major part of that legacy. They were beloved and did huge numbers. I've mentioned this on the channel before, but Wayne was dropping so much music back then that 50 Cent even called him He was also heavy in the feature game, and one of my personal favorites from that era is Duffel Bag Boy by Playaz Circle, a group that, in case you didn't know, featured a young 2 Chainz. It's a classic track and might just be my favorite Wayne feature ever. It's definitely up there. I won't dive into every accolade or song right now, but just know that Wayne has dominated the rap scene for decades. And beyond his own success, his influence on hip-hop is undeniable. From helping popularize the Lil name trend to introducing more playful, creative flows, he's inspired a whole new wave of artists who...
Like, look at me, bro. Just look at me and what you see. I learned Lil Wayne. I wanted to be Lil Wayne. I would talk when I was younger. Girls would say I look like Lil Wayne, so I would run with that. And I would wear the fedoras, and I would wear the tight polo tees with the skinnies, and wear the Vans and shit.
I think when I first started out, I just wanted to be just
as important as Lil Wayne, because I felt like nobody was ever going to be as big as Lil Wayne, like during like Lollipop times, and obviously like Carter 3 times. And
Never got a chance to tell you, but yo, Mona Lisa,
Yeah.
your 2 verses on that shit gotta be like, it's gotta be like one of the like top 5 verses of all time.
Man, thank you, man. Thank you, man.
And don't get me wrong, there are still plenty of people who believe Wayne was in the right and that he should have been the one to perform at the Super Bowl. But looking at the bigger picture, I think this whole string of events over the past couple of years hasn't exactly been a great look for him. It's possible that 2025 is just another bump in the road and he'll bounce back stronger, dropping more heat like he's done in the past. But it's also possible that, as he gets older, he's starting to lose some of that spark. In my opinion, the Carter 5 was the last album that genuinely had people excited, and rightfully so. I really enjoyed several tracks off that project, and it was also on that album, specifically on the song Dedicate, where Wayne proudly pointed out how he helped start a lot of the trends we see in music today. But that was all the way back in 2018, and since then, we haven't really seen Wayne drop anything truly game-changing, aside from maybe a few solid guest verses here and there. So it's very possible that all the drama and controversy surrounding him this year might be what ends up chipping away at his legacy. But like Dante said in the clip I played earlier, maybe it's best for Lil Wayne to stop focusing so much on what people are saying and either get back to doing what he does best, putting out great music, or just step back and focus on what truly matters to him outside the chaos of the industry. He's more than proven himself already, and there's nothing wrong with moving at his own pace instead of getting caught up in the noise. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like or even consider subscribing down below. And yeah, I'll catch you all next time.